One of the most common concerns I hear from men, whether in clinic, online, or in everyday conversations, is about low energy, reduced strength, or declining libido. Many times, these symptoms are linked to testosterone, the key male hormone that plays a vital role not only in sexual health but also in mood, muscle mass, bone strength, and overall vitality. What many men don't realize, however, is that their everyday habits and lifestyle choices could be quietly sabotaging their testosterone levels without them even noticing. In fact, there are hidden factors all around us, things we eat, do, or expose ourselves to that slowly chip away at hormone balance over time. This conversation is about uncovering the truth behind those hidden testosterone killers that most men don't know about. The purpose is not to scare you but to empower you with knowledge, because when you understand what's draining your testosterone, you can take real, practical steps to protect and improve it. Unfortunately, a lot of men are led to believe that the only solutions to low testosterone are expensive supplements, miracle pills, or even testosterone replacement therapy. While medical treatment may be necessary in certain cases, the reality is that many of the underlying issues are preventable and lifestyle-driven. If you can identify and address those hidden killers, you may see a dramatic improvement in your energy, performance, and confidence, without having to rely on a prescription. Testosterone naturally declines with age, but the drop we're seeing today in younger men is alarming. Research has shown that average testosterone levels have been steadily decreasing across generations, and much of this is tied to modern lifestyle factors. Things like poor sleep, high stress, processed foods, sedentary behavior, and exposure to certain chemicals all contribute to hormonal imbalance. The problem is that most men don't connect the dots. They might notice weight gain around the belly, difficulty building muscle, irritability, or lower sexual drive, but they don't realize these are warning signs that their testosterone could be under attack. So, in this discussion, we're going to break down the 10 most important, yet often overlooked testosterone killers. These are not rare medical conditions, they are everyday factors you may encounter at home, at work, or even in the choices you make about diet, exercise, and stress management. We'll explore how each one affects your body, why it lowers testosterone, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Because knowledge without action doesn't lead to change. I'll also share practical evidence-based strategies that you can start applying right away. The goal here is not to chase unrealistic ideals of masculinity, but to give you the tools to take control of your health. When testosterone is at a healthy level, men often notice sharper focus, stronger bodies, better mood, and a renewed sense of vitality. This is not about vanity, it's about living with strength, confidence, and energy, no matter your age. By the end of this talk, you'll know exactly what is quietly draining your testosterone and how to fight back against it. When it comes to testosterone production, few things are as powerful and as overlooked as sleep. The body operates on a natural rhythm known as the circadian cycle, which governs everything from energy levels to hormone release. Testosterone levels rise during the night, peaking in the early morning, and this process is heavily dependent on deep, restorative sleep. If you consistently cut your sleep short or experience poor sleep quality, your body never fully engages in the cycles necessary for optimal hormone production. Studies have shown that even 1 week of restricted sleep can cause a measurable drop in testosterone levels, sometimes as much as 10 to 15%. For a man in his 20s or 30s, that's equivalent to the natural decline expected over a decade of aging. The problem is that many men underestimate the importance of sleep. They might push through late nights, work long hours, or spend too much time on screens before bed, believing they can simply tough it out. In reality, this constant sleep disruption creates a state of hormonal imbalance. Without adequate deep sleep, the body struggles to repair tissues, regulate metabolism, and maintain a healthy balance of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol and testosterone often act in opposition. When cortisol levels are elevated due to poor sleep, testosterone production is suppressed. This imbalance can show up as fatigue, irritability, reduced motivation, weaker libido, and difficulty maintaining muscle mass. Sleep apnea is another hidden factor that often goes unrecognized. Men with untreated sleep apnea experience frequent interruptions in breathing during the night, which drastically reduces sleep quality. Because of this, their testosterone levels often remain chronically low. Even if someone spends 7 or 8 hours in bed, fragmented sleep caused by apnea, snoring, or restless, tossing and turning still prevents the body from reaching the deep, restorative phases where testosterone is maximized. Lifestyle habits also contribute to poor sleep and its hormonal consequences. High caffeine intake, especially later in the day, overstimulates the nervous system and delays the onset of sleep. Excessive alcohol, while it may initially make someone feel drowsy, disrupts REM sleep and further reduces hormonal recovery. Add to this the constant blue light from phones, laptops, and televisions, which tricks the brain into thinking it's daytime, and it becomes clear why so many men struggle with hormone-related fatigue. The encouraging part is that improving sleep can rapidly improve testosterone. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of consistent high-quality rest gives the body the opportunity to replenish hormone levels. Creating a wind-down routine, reducing screen time before bed, keeping the bedroom cool and dark, and addressing any underlying sleep disorders can all make a meaningful difference. Within just a few weeks of better sleep, many men notice improvements in mood, energy, and sexual health, and these benefits continue to compound over time. Ultimately, poor sleep quality is one of the most silent yet damaging testosterone killers. Unlike age or genetics, it's a factor that can be controlled with conscious effort. By valuing rest as much as diet and exercise, men give their bodies the chance to restore natural testosterone levels and reclaim the vitality that poor sleep silently steals away. Stress is often seen as just a mental or emotional burden, but in reality, it has a direct and measurable effect on hormones, especially testosterone. When the body experiences stress, whether from work pressure, financial worries, relationship struggles, or even physical strain, it triggers the release of cortisol. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone, designed to help us handle short bursts of danger or challenge. In small amounts, it is useful. It sharpens focus, boosts alertness, and mobilizes energy. But when stress becomes chronic, and cortisol remains elevated for long periods of time, it begins to interfere with nearly every aspect of health, including testosterone production. The body treats cortisol and testosterone almost like opposing forces. When cortisol levels rise, testosterone levels naturally fall. This is because the body prioritizes survival over reproduction. From an evolutionary perspective, if the brain perceives constant danger or threat, it diverts resources away from sexual health and muscle building and instead channels energy into immediate survival mechanisms. Unfortunately, in modern life, the stress response is triggered not just by life-threatening events, but by daily issues like endless emails, traffic jams, social media pressure, and lack of downtime. This means cortisol is being released far more often than our biology was designed to handle. The effects of chronic cortisol overload are easy to see. Men may feel constant fatigue, even after sleeping, or they might notice mood swings, irritability, or difficulty concentrating. Muscle mass often decreases, body fat accumulates around the abdomen, and libido takes a hit. These are not just random symptoms, they are direct consequences of testosterone suppression caused by ongoing stress. What makes this more concerning is that many men normalize stress, believing it is just part of life, when in fact, it is silently eroding their hormonal balance every day. Stress also influences behavior in ways that compound the problem. People under stress often eat poorly, relying on processed comfort foods, high in sugar and unhealthy fats. These foods further disrupt insulin and hormone balance, leading to weight gain and more testosterone decline. High stress also tends to reduce motivation for exercise, or in some cases push men toward overtraining, which itself raises cortisol levels and lowers testosterone. Even sleep is impacted, as a stressed mind struggles to relax, leaving men stuck in a cycle of late nights, restless thoughts, and poor recovery. The good news is that managing stress can significantly restore testosterone health. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing exercises, and regular physical activity help lower cortisol. Spending time outdoors, limiting exposure to constant digital stimulation, and strengthening supportive relationships are simple but powerful ways to buffer stress. Even something as basic as carving out 30 minutes a day for relaxation or hobbies can reduce cortisol spikes. When cortisol is controlled, testosterone is able to rebound naturally, leading to improvements in energy, mood, and performance. Chronic stress and cortisol overload are among the most common and underestimated testosterone killers. Unlike aging or genetics, stress is a factor that men can take active steps to reduce. By learning to manage the pressures of modern life more effectively, men not only protect their mental health, but also preserve one of the most vital hormones that fuels their strength, vitality, and overall quality of life. Diet plays one of the most significant roles in determining hormone balance, and testosterone is particularly sensitive to what a man eats. Among the biggest dietary culprits behind declining testosterone are processed foods and high sugar intake. On the surface, a burger, fries, soda, or packaged snack might just seem like a convenient option for a busy day. But on a deeper level, these foods alter metabolism, disrupt hormone production, and fuel inflammation in ways that directly suppress testosterone. Processed foods are typically loaded with refined grains, trans fats, excess sodium preservatives, and artificial additives. Unlike whole foods that provide steady nourishment, these ultra-processed products cause rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar. Every time blood sugar surges, the pancreas releases insulin to bring it back down. Over time, frequent sugar spikes lead to insulin resistance, where the body's cells stop responding efficiently to insulin. This state is strongly linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and low testosterone. When insulin resistance develops, the testes struggle to produce adequate testosterone, and the hormone's action within the body becomes less effective. Sugar, in particular, has a more immediate effect. Studies have shown that after consuming high amounts of sugar, testosterone levels can drop significantly within just a couple of hours. If this becomes a regular habit through sodas, candies, pastries, or sweetened cereals, testosterone remains chronically suppressed. Excess sugar also fuels fat gain, particularly visceral fat around the abdomen. This type of fat is metabolically active, meaning it produces enzymes that convert testosterone into estrogen. Over time, this process lowers testosterone further and creates an imbalance between male and female hormones. Another problem with processed foods is the type of fats they contain. Trans fats, often found in fried foods, packaged baked goods, and margarine, are notorious for lowering testosterone and harming sperm health. They increase inflammation, damage blood vessels, and interfere with the cholesterol-based pathways that the body uses to make testosterone. On the other hand, healthy fats like those from olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fish actually support testosterone production. This means that the type of fat consumed can either help or harm hormone health. Processed foods are also deficient in essential micronutrients that the body needs for optimal testosterone production. For example, zinc and magnesium are critical minerals for hormone balance, yet processed diets are often low in these nutrients. Whole foods like lean meats, leafy greens, seeds, and legumes provide them naturally, whereas packaged and refined foods strip them away. Without these building blocks, testosterone synthesis becomes inefficient. The cycle doesn't stop there. Diets heavy in sugar and processed foods often leave men feeling sluggish, moody, and unmotivated to exercise, which further weakens testosterone levels. Poor diet also disrupts gut health, and research now shows a strong link between the gut microbiome and hormone regulation. When processed foods dominate the diet, beneficial gut bacteria decline, harmful bacteria flourish, and systemic inflammation rises, all of which interfere with testosterone production. The encouraging part is that this problem is reversible. Replacing processed and sugary foods with whole, nutrient-dense options has been shown to improve testosterone levels naturally. By focusing on lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, vegetables, healthy fats, and adequate hydration, men can stabilize blood sugar, reduce excess fat, and provide their bodies with the raw materials needed to optimize hormone production. Excess processed foods and sugar are hidden testosterone killers. Because their effects are often overlooked or underestimated, many men blame age for their declining energy, mood, and libido, when in reality, dietary habits are silently undermining their hormonal health. By cutting back on processed options and embracing a whole food lifestyle, testosterone levels can recover, leading to stronger performance, better body composition, and overall vitality. Living a sedentary lifestyle has become one of the most common habits in modern society, and unfortunately, it is also one of the most damaging to testosterone health. The human body was designed for movement. Walking, lifting, climbing, and working physically were once part of everyday life. Today, however, long hours at desks, constant screen use, commuting in cars, and relaxation that revolves around television or phones have created a pattern where many men spend the majority of their day sitting. This lack of consistent activity gradually undermines not only physical fitness but also hormone balance, with testosterone being one of the first to decline. When muscles are inactive for long stretches of time, the body sends fewer signals to stimulate testosterone production. Muscle tissue is metabolically active and requires hormones like testosterone to stay strong and functional. Without regular use, muscle begins to break down. Fat accumulates, and the endocrine system adjusts by lowering testosterone output. Over time, this reduced activity contributes to a downward spiral. Less muscle mass leads to lower testosterone, which then makes it harder to build or maintain muscle, leading to even greater loss. Excess sitting also contributes to weight gain, particularly the buildup of visceral fat around the abdomen. This type of fat is harmful not just because it adds inches to the waistline, but because it actively disrupts hormone balance. Visceral fat contains an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. The more fat present, the more testosterone is siphoned away and transformed into a different hormone altogether. As a result, men who lead inactive lifestyles often experience not only low testosterone, but also symptoms of hormonal imbalance, such as fatigue, reduced libido, and mood changes. Another hidden factor is circulation. Movement improves blood flow throughout the body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to including the testes, where testosterone is produced. Sedentary behavior limits circulation, which can reduce the efficiency of hormone production and impair erectile function. Poor blood flow also increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, a condition strongly linked to low testosterone levels. Mental health is also affected by inactivity, and stress or depression caused by a sedentary routine further compounds hormonal issues. Physical activity is known to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that suppresses testosterone. Without exercise, cortisol often stays elevated, leading to chronic suppression of testosterone production. In other words, inactivity not only takes away the benefits of movement, but also intensifies the negative effects of stress. The good news is that reversing a sedentary lifestyle does not require extreme measures. Even moderate amounts of regular activity can have a powerful effect on testosterone levels. Strength training, in particular, is one of the most effective ways to stimulate testosterone production, as it directly engages large muscle groups and signals the body to produce more of the hormone needed to support growth and repair. Cardiovascular exercise, such as brisk walking, cycling, or swimming, helps reduce body fat and improve circulation, both of which indirectly support testosterone. Incorporating movement throughout the day also matters. Standing up every hour, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking during phone calls, and doing short bursts of bodyweight exercises can counteract the effects of long sitting hours. Over time, these small actions add up and shift the body away from an energy-storing mode to an hormone-supporting state. A sedentary lifestyle is a hidden testosterone killer. Because its effects build slowly and silently, many men may not connect their low energy, declining motivation, and reduced strength to their daily inactivity. Yet science is clear. The less we move, the lower our testosterone goes. By making movement a consistent part of life, men can restore their hormonal health, improve their performance, and regain the vitality that inactivity quietly takes away. One of the most overlooked but powerful factors that reduce testosterone levels in men today comes from environmental toxins and endocrine disruptors. These are chemicals found in everyday items, things we use, eat, or are exposed to without realizing how they interfere with the body's natural hormone balance. The endocrine system is a delicate network that regulates testosterone, estrogen, cortisol, and many other hormones. When certain chemicals mimic or block these hormones, they create confusion in the body, leading to suppressed testosterone production, reduced fertility, and in some cases, Long-term health consequences. Plastics are a major culprit. Compounds such as BPA, commonly found in food containers, water bottles, and even receipts, have been shown to act as endocrine disruptors. BPA, for instance, can mimic estrogen in the body, tipping the balance between male and female hormones. Studies show that men with high BPA exposure often have lower testosterone, poorer sperm quality, and a higher risk of erectile dysfunction. The problem becomes worse when plastic containers are heated, as more chemicals leach into food and drinks. Pesticides and herbicides used in agriculture also contain hormone-disrupting compounds. When fruits, vegetables, or grains are treated with these chemicals, residues can remain in the food we eat. Over time, exposure builds up, contributing to reduced testosterone and increased risk of metabolic issues. Certain fungicides and insecticides are particularly harmful because they interfere with enzymes involved in testosterone production. This makes eating organic or thoroughly washed produce an important step in reducing risk. Household and personal care products are another hidden source. Shampoos, deodorants, lotions, and cleaning supplies often contain synthetic fragrances and other chemicals that act as endocrine disruptors. Because these are applied directly to the skin or inhaled, they can be absorbed quickly into the bloodstream. Over years of use, the cumulative exposure affects the body's ability to maintain healthy testosterone levels. Even the air we breathe plays a role. Industrial pollution, heavy metals like lead and cadmium, and persistent organic pollutants from manufacturing and waste can disrupt hormone function. Men living in highly polluted areas are often found to have significantly lower testosterone levels compared to those in cleaner environments. Similarly, drinking water contaminated with pharmaceuticals, pesticides, or plastics can deliver daily doses of hormone-disrupting substances without people even realizing it. The impact of these toxins is not always immediate. They accumulate slowly in fat tissue, creating long-term effects. This means a man might feel fine in his 20s, but notice a decline in testosterone, fertility, or energy as he ages, partially due to years of invisible exposure. Reducing risk requires proactive choices. Using glass or stainless steel containers instead of plastic, filtering drinking water, choosing organic produce when possible, and switching to natural personal care and cleaning products are simple yet effective strategies. Ventilating living spaces and reducing use of synthetic fragrances also minimize daily exposure. Environmental toxins and endocrine disruptors are hidden testosterone killers because they are so deeply embedded in daily life. While they cannot be avoided completely, awareness and conscious lifestyle changes can dramatically reduce their influence. By limiting exposure to these chemicals, men not only protect their testosterone, but also support long-term reproductive health, energy, and overall well-being.